Hey guys, good to have you. How are you all? Welcome back to Smart Money Bro. Make sure I can hear you guys. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Let me know if we're set to go. And just give me a quick thumbs up. And let's jump into today's topic, guys. Getting rich is way easier if you understand this. And let's have this conversation about what we want to understand about money. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. And also in the chat, guys, let me know where you're checking in from. What city, what state, what country you're checking in from. Oftentimes we get people from all over the world that come into our lives, so we appreciate that. And we want to kind of give a shout out to everybody who comes in. But we want to have this conversation, guys. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up again if you can actually hear me, all right? Because I want to make sure we're set on our audio. And let me know. Oh, we got somebody checking in from Savannah, Georgia. Good to have you. Loretta Brown, good to have you as well. Hello, how are you all? Let me know the city, the state, the country that you're from. And we're going to talk about getting rich is easier if you understand this. And I'm going to explain to you what this is, right? Because it makes getting rich or getting wealthy or building wealth, it makes it way simpler for you. If you follow this. So we want to have this conversation, guys. This is going to be a dandy. I hope you're here and I hope you're locked in and I hope you can share this with someone else. All right. Looks like we got somebody checking in from Jamaica, Top Notch Carpentry. Good to have you. And from Tucson, Patrick, good to have you as well. Macon, George is here. Charlotte, North Carolina is here. As you guys know, we try to have conversations around topics that sometimes deserve a deeper dive with our money. And I think this is a topic that I think deserves a deeper dive than just, it's going to sound really simple on the surface, but we really need to go deeper into it. Got Charlotte, Danielle from Charlotte. We got Boston here as well, Boston, Mass. Got somebody from Michigan up in the Upper Peninsula. And glad to have you here as well. Share this video, and everybody in the chat right now should be smashing the like button in YouTube, okay? Smashing the like button. If you're watching this on replay, feel free to drop a comment as well. The concept I'm going to share with you is simple. It's very, very simple. It's elementary, but it's not easy. It's very simple, but it's not easy. It's hard for most people to do this. And if you don't, not doing this, what I'm going to share with you, keeps people in bondage. It keeps people kind of locked into poverty, the cycle of poverty, the rat race of poverty. And it keeps a lot of people just frankly broke, right? What I want to do on this channel is I want to get us to thinking differently so we can bust out of the normal pattern of simply just, like a hamster in a wheel. We want to break out of that pattern with our money. It's difficult now. It's more difficult because, inflation has been high and all that good stuff. And there's a lot of things going on. Wages are not keeping up over the long haul, over the decades with inflation. But it's doable. It's still doable if you can understand this concept that I'm going to share with you. But you gotta kind of throw off all of the old ways of thinking sometimes with our money, right? Especially if you haven't done well with money. If you look at your money right now and you're 35, 40, 50 years old, 60 years old, and you don't have what you want to have with money, then guess what? You need new information about money. You need new ways of thinking about money because all of your old ways of thinking about money have led to where you currently are right now with money. So you got to start thinking different and you need new information. And that's what this channel is all about. Trying to give you a new perspective, right, of looking at your personal finances in order to get better with money. So getting rich is going to be easier for you if you understand this simple concept. Please don't forget to smash the like button, share the link. That helps the video get out to more and more people. And please subscribe. If you're coming in here for the first time, you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. I want to talk about the concept, and then I want to do a little Q&A too. If you guys have a question or two you want to ask me or pick my brain about something, please feel free. This won't be a very long video. I won't be before you very long. But this is a topic that I felt deserved a deeper dive than just an 8-minute video. a deeper discussion than just a quick 10 minutes of me flashing stuff on the screen, right? Which there's nothing wrong with that if that's what some folks do. And I do that with some videos. But sometimes there's a concept that requires a little bit deeper thought, right? So we can have a conversation that's a little bit more in depth, right? So I can explain this a little bit more, right? But again, here's the concept that's going to make getting rich easier for you. And I'm going to explain the concept after I give it to you up front. The concept is simply, it's going to make getting wealthier and richer easier for you, is the simple, seemingly simple concept of needs versus wants. Needs versus wants. It's the concept of simply separating what you need from what you want, and then taking those wants that you have in this pile over here and learning how to minimize those wants, right? Learning how to avoid things like materialism, avoid things like consumerism, right? Right? All those things that we need to kind of taper down if we want to become wealthier, get richer, or have more money. Learning how to turn away from this never-ending revolving hamster wheel called consumerism here in America. Now, I don't know what it's like in Mexico. I don't know what it's like in London, London, Great Britain. I don't know what it's like in, West Africa, Ghana, Nigeria. I don't know what it's like in Australia, Hong Kong, Taiwan. I've never been there. I only can speak for America because I've been in America. It's a never-ending battle of buy this, buy that. You have to buy this. You have to buy that. You need this, whether it's commercials, whether it's internet, whether it's driving down the street. You're being advertised to 24/7 constantly, right? You can't go to the gas station at night or anytime because as soon as you reach to get that handle and you hit the button, now the TV at the gas station right there is coming on there advertising stuff to you constantly, right? It's just constant bombarding of being sold to. And we, because they know our behavior as consumers, as human beings, we buy it, right? We buy it. And we don't stop to think about a very, very simple concept that could make building wealth and becoming richer, that's needs versus wants. We never stop to think about that, right? We just sort of buy, and we just buy and consume and consume. And I'm saying, let's slow down. Let's slow that down. Let's examine this whole concept of wants and needs, right? Because, consumerism is sort of a learned behavior, right? We didn't come out of the womb at 2 and 3 years old or grow up as an 8 and 9-year-old wanting all the stuff that we want, right? To buy this and buy that and have this and have that. That's not really how we were born, right? We've been programmed to sort of be that way. Have you ever noticed when you grow up poor? Like I grew up very, very poor, very, very poor. That you never really knew you were poor because for most of us, we had sort of those basic needs, the family, we had food, right? We had a place to lay our heads. Most of us, some didn't, but most of us, right? We had all the things we needed, even though we were poor in the eyes of other people, right? We didn't start wanting stuff and more stuff till we got older. We saw enough commercials. We went to school with people, right? And saw other people, what other people had. And we said, you know what, now what can we do? We want to have some stuff too, right? So when you really break it down, guys, I'm going to flip that to blue because I like blue better. When you really break it down, guys, our needs come down to a very few things that we absolutely need, right? But we're accustomed to, and we see around us people who have more, so that makes us want more, and we see commercials and billboards and advertisements. I mean, you ever been driving and been hungry, and it's like, man, there's food all over the place. Wow, look at that sandwich on that billboard, right? But it just makes it all those things makes it harder for us to sacrifice and go without. And making it harder for us to sacrifice and go without makes it harder for us to build wealth. It makes it harder for us to become a millionaire because our minds begin to be programmed to be consumers, and we jump in this rat race, right? See, the key to real wealth, and I mean real wealth, not the passed down wealth that, 20% of all the millionaires, I'm going to say in America, because as I said earlier, I know America. In America, roughly 20%, several studies will tell you that about 20 to 25% of millionaires in America received an inheritance. But most 70-80% of millionaires did not receive any inheritance, right? So when I say the key to real wealth, I mean the people that did not receive an inheritance. The key to real wealth is wanting and needing less, or I would say wanting less, and learning to be more frugal, learning to be happier with less, learning to be less dependent on things and materialism to bring us happiness and joy, right? So that getting rich or becoming wealthy is simple, but it's not easy. It's that what I just went over as far as wants and needs, and I'm gonna dig a little deeper into them, but wants and needs, that's a very, very simple concept that typically you will find taught at the elementary school level. I used to be a teacher. I taught 7th grade for 7 years back in the 90s, right? I expected when my 7th grade students came to me, they already knew what a want and a need was. Now, we talk about it, but you get that in the 5th grade. You get that in the 6th grade, 4th grade. What is a want and what is a need? So it's a very, very elementary and simple concept, right? But it's a simple concept that a lot of us just don't get. We understand it, but we don't take the hard step of applying it to our financial life, right? We just don't take that hard step. Getting rich or becoming wealthy, again, simple, but not easy. For many of us, it's going to take reprogramming the way we think about material, stuff, consumption, the Joneses, and the expectations of friends and family, and focusing on living on less. That's why I said, guys, getting rich is way easier if you truly understand and apply this very simple concept, right? Very simple concept. Focus on living on less. Now, listen, let me preface this by saying this. I did not say living like a pauper or living like somebody who lives on the street. I mean, when I say live on less, change your mind from the Joneses and the expectations and the consumerism and the materialism. When I say all that, I mean simply reevaluating your needs versus your wants. See, this sounds like a very elementary topic, right? Sounds very, very elementary. But if everybody in the chat or everybody who watches this thinks deep enough, they know somebody in their life who has a hard time with needs versus wants. If you live in America, somebody who has a difficult time separating their needs and their wants, and they know, everybody knows somebody who's consumed with consumerism, or they're consumed with shopping, or they have an addiction for buying stuff on Amazon, or this is what I'm talking about, or they have an addiction to keeping up with the Joneses, right? We all know if it's not us, right? You got to look in the mirror and see if it's you first. But if it's not us, we all know somebody who manages and handles their money and their life in that fashion. So this is while it seems very elementary, this is a much heavier topic than what it seems like from the outside. It seems very simple. We all know our needs and our wants, no big deal. But are you living and applying the wisdom that comes along with actually buying and spending your money on needs versus wants, right? Not just knowing it, but how are you behaving with money to apply it, right? Understanding needs versus wants is simple, but being able to apply that concept to your financial situation or your financial life is a very complex social behavior issue that's deeper than most people would imagine. It's far deeper, right? But if you want to build some wealth, because that's what this channel is about, it's about building wealth, right? Building some wealth. And I don't mean $10 million. I don't mean $10 million. Everybody can live comfortably off about $700,000. Most of us, right? Probably all of us. But when I say building wealth, I'm not trying to tell you how to become a billionaire. That's not what this channel is about. I'm trying to tell you how to become comfortable with your money. Maybe it's 500,000 by the time you're 60. Maybe it's $1 million by the time you're 45 or 50. Maybe it's 2 million, whatever. Maybe it's 250,000 if you're starting with nothing and you just need 250,000 and you're 65 years old, 70 years old. Maybe it's 250, right? That's wealth, right? Monetarily, when it comes to money, that's wealth. It's wherever you are and what you need and what you're comfortable with to live a good life. I can't tell you exactly what wealth is for you. I can tell you what it looks like for me, and I can give you a way to get to where you want to be with your wealth, right? But it's a little different for everybody, right? But if you want to build wealth, you have to apply this very simple concept of being able to separate your wants and your needs. And you have to understand, along with that, the concept of sacrifice. Sacrificing some of those wants today to have what you need in the future. Okay? If you watch any videos I do, guys, I always say the best person to take care of the old you is a young you. It's because the old you in the future has to eat. The old you in the future has to have utilities, lights, water, and gas coming into your home to heat your home if you live in a cold area. The old you has to be able to have some transportation to get around. Has to maybe be able to buy that scooter if you can't get around. The old you has to be able to fund health care and have some health care. Be able to go get a surgery or two if you need it, right? But the old you can't do any of that if the young you is not understanding the concept of wants versus needs. If the young you doesn't understand that the old you needs the young you. Right? If you don't understand that, then it's going to be very difficult for you to ever build some wealth. It's going to be very, very hard for you to get rich. Right? I know rich and wealth are two different things, and I use those terms interchangeably, right? But when I say build wealth, I'm saying get rich. Right? I don't want to split hairs between the two. They are different in a way, but I kind of use them at the same time. But in order to do that, it's going to be hard, and you have to sacrifice. And you have to understand this very simple principle, but you got to be able to apply it to your financial situation, right? Now, me personally, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me for 2 seconds. I'm just talking about what I did here, okay? I had to give up when I was up in about 12, 13 years ago. I don't know, 2011, 2012. I gave up credit cards because I had to personally give up credit cards because I thought I was going to use them. Didn't need them. Didn't want them around. But I felt like I kind of needed them, but I didn't want them. So I said, let's get rid of them, right? Hard stance on credit cards, right? I had to give up credit cards, right? And I had to give up spending money I didn't have before I had it. That's, right? That's what a credit card is, right? You're getting a loan, a short-term loan for 10 days, 20 days, 100 days, 200 days, 4 years, 8 years. You're getting a short-term loan because you don't have the money, or you probably do have the money, but you rather use the credit card, right? For some people, right? But I had to give that up for me personally. I had to also commit to a cash life. If I was going to give up credit cards, then I had to commit to a cash life, meaning I did everything with cash, right? I had to give up tracking my credit score. Let me let you guys in on this. I only checked my credit score one time since 2012. I gave it up because I refinanced my property in 2014, 2015. But I had to give up chasing a credit score, right? Caring and living just to raise my credit score from 700 to 750, right? I had to give that up. That's me personally. Not everybody has to do that. I'm just telling you, sharing with you what I did. I had to give up the dependence on the credit score. Now, I also had to give up newer cars, right? In 2003, I bought a 2002 Camry. I also bought a new car back in 1988. That's a whole nother story. But I had to give up the idea of getting new cars, right? I had to get older cars and pay cash for them, right? I had to give up expensive vacations. Not like I didn't take a lot of them, but I had to give them up. I had to give up buying the latest and fanciest new clothes, which I never was really a big clothes person. But listen, I had to make sacrifices, is the point I'm trying to explain to you. Your wealth journey starts with one question. Your wealth journey is going to start when you can answer this one question. The one question you can answer is, what are you willing to give up today to have more down the road? When you can answer that question, that's when your financial journey really starts. When you can come to a conclusion about what you can give up, what you're willing to sacrifice, right? Just a few days ago, guys, I put up a graphic on some of the social media platforms. I put up a small graphic that explained the difference between wants and needs, right? I put up this graphic because I thought it'd be interesting to do it in a graphic. And I don't know if I can even show it to you right now, but maybe I can. Let me try to share my screen. If you guys can, are you guys okay with bearing with me for a moment? Let me see if I can share my screen with you real quick and see if it comes up. Give me 2 seconds here. Oh, no, it didn't like it'll come up. Okay. Well, the graphic basically said, let me just see if there's another way I can share it. The graphic basically said this, guys. It said, what's the difference between needs versus wants? And let's see here. I'm going to try to find it. I'm going to try to find another way to get it up here if you guys can bear with me. Oh, by the way, let me just kind of run through. I didn't give you guys a shout out for some of you that said where you were from when we first started. Let me do that real quick. Charlotte, North Carolina's here. We got Texas. We got some folks from a lot of different places all over the country. And I think I've seen somebody from out of the country as well. But let me go back over here and see if I can't pull this up real quick, because I want to show the graphic if I can while I talk about it. If you guys won't beat me up. Let's see here. Nope, one more right there. Okay, here it is right here. All right, now I think I can share it with you guys. Because in case you didn't see it, I want you to see it while I mention some things about it real quick. All right. No. Maybe I can't show it. Oh, there it is right there. Okay. So needs versus wants, right? I just showed it right there, as you guys can see. So in this graphic right here, I just put this up. I wanted to find this for you guys to say, listen, I wanted to tackle this issue because I had a conversation with somebody. I'll tell you about that conversation in just a bit. But I think it's important. Needs versus want. So, for example, food is a need, right? We all got to eat, right? But going to Starbucks every day, going to Red Lobster, Papa Do's, wherever you go, right? That's a want. Everybody's got to eat, but going there is a want, right? Shoes are a need. But the $250 pair of or Nike or LeBrons, KDs, whatever you get, Jordans, that's a want, right? Everybody needs transportation nowadays. I say everybody, but most people still need transportation nowadays, or they do need it to get around, jobs, etc., right? But going out and saying I got to buy a new car because I have to have transportation, that's a want. When you buy the brand new car, you just needed transportation. Heck, for some people, transportation could be bus. For some people, transportation could be the train if you live in a big city, right? Self-care. Everybody needs to take care of themselves, but guess what? You can take care of yourself for cheap, right? You don't have to go on that guy's golfing trip to Hilton Head, South Carolina. You don't have to go to the girls' trip to Dubai, like it says there on the graphic, right? You can go a lot of different places and do a lot of different things, and you can do self-care for inexpensive, right? Self-improvement. We all want to improve ourselves. Guess what? Reading a book is self-improvement, right? Reading a free book or listening to a free audio book on Amazon or wherever you can get it from, Audible, that's self-improvement. You don't have to go to the $10,000 or $20,000 weekend boot camp that's put on by one of the big gurus somewhere. You don't have to go there for self-improvement. Self-improvement might be just some meditation and taking a good long walk in nature, right? Or it might be you getting on the YouTube that's free and learning a new skill, right? That's self-improvement. Shelter is a need, right? And I talk to a lot of people about shelter. Shelter is usually our biggest expense, but shelter's a need, right? But guess what? Going to saying, I need an apartment that's downtown, that's near coffee shops and near places where I can go out to eat and so forth, and I want to be around all the action. That's a want. That's not a need. Shelter is a need. A lot of times, if you live in downtown Seattle, or if you live near downtown, let's say, Boston or downtown New York or DC, a lot of times, guys, guess what? If you just take and get some transportation and move about 30 to 40 to 50 to an hour away from in most large cities, you can get cheaper shelter. But if you want to be in that 3-bedroom, 2-bath downtown because you want to have an office space for yourself and you have an extra room for your friends who come over and visit, that's a want. Shelter is the need. Now, I know this sounds elementary. I know this sounds really basic. I get it, guys. It is really basic. But just because it's basic doesn't mean that it's popular to do or it's something that's easy to do, right? I hear from people every day who say that I need self-care and I need transportation. I have to go out, but not really. Those are basic needs that can be taken care of for less money. See, a lot of us have a really big issue understanding and applying, not understanding, but applying this basic concept of needs versus wants. We justify poor behaviors with money with trying to convince ourselves and others that it's a need. And a lot of times our spending of money is based primarily on our wants, right? Again, food, shelter, clothing, transportation, utilities, self-care, self-learning. That's affordable for a lot of us. We don't get in trouble until we begin to manage the wants. And how we manage our wants, typically, it messes with a lot of our money, right? We throw in the shoes and the new iPhone and the barbershop and getting the hair done once a month or once a week and the Starbucks and the club and the car payment and, the concert tickets, the NFL game day party that I'm hosting. And next thing you know, things are out of hand with money. And we wonder why the old you doesn't have the money. It's because the young you didn't want to sacrifice. It's because the young you wasn't able to apply the concept of needs versus wants, right? See, let me make this clear. I'm not saying don't have fun with your money. In fact, I want you to have as much fun as possible with your money. But I want you to focus on having inexpensive fun and knowing that inexpensive fun is often more fun than expensive fun. See, don't give money too much credit. It's a tool. Money is a tool. It's not the main tool. It's not the only tool. Don't give money more power over your life than it deserves. If you want to grow money, build wealth, and be rich, you have to learn how to have fun on less, how to take care of your wants on less. You don't want to tie your joy and your happiness to the amount of money you spend trying to get that joy and happiness. Because for real, some of the absolute best times you're ever going to have on this planet have absolutely nothing to do with the amount of money you spent to have that good time, right? Refusing to tie your happiness and your joy to the amount of money that you spend is going to teach you how to really apply the concept of separating your needs from your wants. And when you learn to separate your needs from your wants, you'll begin to reframe your mindset around what's really important in the world. It's not the wants, but it's the ability to fulfill your needs and fund your wants in an expensive manner. And that's what's ultimately called having more, and it's going to lead to you having more money. It's going to lead to you being in a better position to build wealth. It's going to lead to you in a better position to actually become rich down the road. Now, what I'm saying, guys, is a concept that I won't say unless, if you're an older person, you're going to really get what I'm saying, right? Just live long enough and you're going to understand that spending money don't equal happy. Spending money should not equal joy. When you get there, you'll have more money to invest. You'll have more money to save. You'll have more money to retire on if you understand that concept and apply it. Some of you are at that point now. Don't get me wrong. There's some 25 or 30-year-olds sitting here in this live right here kudos to you if you understand this concept and apply this concept at a young age. Congratulations. For most people, me included, it took a long time to get there, right? So the question here, getting rich is way easier if you understand this concept. The question becomes this: how do you determine if something is a want or a need, right? And basically the answer to that, guys, is, you use your common sense, your discernment. First, would you still be able to function and keep up with life if you didn't have Air Jordans and you had some regular gym shoes, right? Would you be able to function and live and keep up with life if you had that 2014 Honda Accord as opposed to that 2022 or 2023 or 2024 Lexus, right? Could you keep up? And we make becoming rich and wealth difficult, right? It's not that difficult really at all. It's just hard for people to do. It's simple, but it's hard. What happens with a lot of people with money, let me mention this, is that they're so far in the frame that they can't really see the big picture with money. Guys, before I move forward, smash that like button. I need you to hit the like button because this type of common sense, practical approach to a simple concept to help us build wealth is what we need, right? It's what we need. It's what a lot of people need to hear this message. So by smashing the like button, sharing the link with your family, your friends, your network of good people, it helps put this message out. I'm not a guru. I'm not an internet guru who's trying to sell you a course. I'm not an internet guru who's trying to tell you how to get $10,000 next week. I'm not going to do that, right? What I am here to do is tell you how to build wealth, how to become wealthy, how to become richer than you are, how to retire with some money, how to have more money right now, right? Right? Simple concept. Understanding wants from needs, right? Smash the like button. By the way, the video, Mint Mobile, right? Check out their description, their link in the description box. Great product. We're about saving money. If you want to save money on a premium wireless service, check out Mint Mobile. I won't even go into all the stuff they offer. Very good service, very solid. I wouldn't be endorsing them if they weren't. I wouldn't be talking about them if they weren't, okay? Also, in the description box, 24 Laws of Money, free ebook from me to you. 49 pages, 48, 49 pages, right? 24 different principles that help me go from a negative $30,000 net worth to my name at the age of 30. At the age of 30, I was broke and poor, to a seven-figure net worth today. Not to brag, not to boast, but just to say that it can be done. Free ebook, it's in the description box as well. Now, what happens with a lot of people with money is that they're so far in the frame they can't see the picture. They're so far immersed in their own money problems and what they want to do with their, with their money every month, that it's hard for them to see a way out. And this is why I think you have a lot of people who make really good money but feel like they're living paycheck to paycheck. They look at their money problems and they see two solutions, either this or this. And then I come along and I look at their money problem and I say, wait a minute, there's 5 solutions. If you do this, 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 or you can do this, 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 or you can. And so this is why a lot of us need sometimes, as private as money can be, to talk to people and talk to someone else who can show you new ways to think about your money, new solutions, new alternatives, new ways of thinking about your problem, and give you new insight to what's possible, right? People don't like to talk about money with other people, oftentimes. And because of that, most people are stuck in their ways with their money because they haven't been able to say, hey, what do you think I should do? I got this amount of money, got this. What do you think? And people are stuck because they only know you only know what you know in your own brain. That's why 2, 3, 4 heads can sometimes be better than just one head, because I can offer you new ways of looking at things. Somebody else can offer something totally different, right? But I don't care. Listen, the other thing is this. Let me say this. Not only do you all oftentimes need somebody else to look at your money situation to help you, but oftentimes, as I said earlier, you're going to need to sacrifice something. Now, I don't care what you were told or taught about not settling when you were younger, right? Or you can have it all, right? Listen, the truth about money is this. Let me drop this truth. The truth about money is you cannot have it all. You have to sacrifice something to get something else. If you want more money, you're going to have to give up some time, some energy. You're going to have to give up some effort, right? If you want more income, you have to go to work on something and plan and strategize, and all that's going to take energy from you, right? So if you want more income, you have to be willing to give up something, right? Everyone must sacrifice something to have more money, more wealth. And when it comes to money, oftentimes what you're going to be sacrificing is some of those wants, right? You're going to have to sacrifice some of those wants, right? Now, I know there's some people that are doing this already, and you guys are right here in the chat. You're doing this already. I get it. But some of us have to sacrifice a little more than what we really may be comfortable with. Because, guys, again, times are sort of changing a little bit, right? We have to do things a little bit different. You may have to look at shelter a little different than you looked at shelter 30 years ago. You may have to, right? But the point is, what are your wants and what are your needs? Here's an exercise for you. Take your expenses. If you do, like I asked you to do, a unique budget every single month. Take a look at your expenses for last month, right? Maybe they're already written out. Maybe they're not written out. Write out all your expenses. What do you spend money on? Just like a business, right? You're a business, right? You have expenditures every month. You have expenses. Next to each expense, you can put a want or a need next to each one on that list. Is it a want or is it a need? Next to all of your expenses that you send out. And some of your needs, when you talk about, well, I need a car, right? Well, do you need that type of car? Yeah, you may have a car payment, but do you need that car? Do you need that amount of food or that amount of eating out at the restaurant, right? When you get all your expenses and you determine if they're needs or wants, then you got to figure out which one can you maybe live without or maybe live with a cheaper, less expensive version of. Just an exercise. If you want to figure out what are my needs and my wants, just try this exercise. Right? Now, I do this exercise with people when I do my one-on-ones and we get on a Zoom call and we share screens and I challenge them because personal finances are personal. A lot of people have never had a money discussion with anyone else about their money. A lot of people, because again, people don't talk about money. But when you talk to a person like me about your money, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to say things that you may not want to hear, but you may need to hear. Right? And I'm going to ask you, let's look at all your expenses. Do you really have to have that expense? Okay, you spend $300 a month on that. Can we pare that down to $200 a month? Can we make it $150 a month? And most people appreciate being challenged about their money because, again, most people just don't talk to anybody about their money. And I think that's what gets a lot of people in trouble with their money because what they've always thought is a need, it could probably be a want. And sometimes we're so far in the picture of our money that we're not able to take a broad look at our money, right? And when you come in and you have somebody like me that comes in and looks at your expenses, then I'm going to give you kind of a broader look at it that you may not have thought about it. See, I'm asking you to look at your expenses. Everyone wants to focus on their income to be rich. Everyone wants to focus on their income to be wealthy. If you go to 100 different YouTube channels and look up wealth, 99 of them will be talking about what you can do to make more money. What I'm telling you to do is what can you cut out of your wants to have more money? That's the expense side of your budget that people don't like looking at, right? Because it's sexy and it's fun to look at income, growing my income, right? But few people want to actually examine their expenses because when you look at your expenses, you're looking in the mirror. When you look at your expenses, you're looking at you on paper. What you prioritize on paper is on the expense side of your budget. And it's difficult. It's hard, right? That's why people don't want to look at their expenses. They'd rather focus on how can I make more money as opposed to how can I spend less money. But if you want more money, the first and easiest place to go if you want to increase your income is the expense side of your budget. Spend less. Figure out your needs and your wants, and then see in those wants where you can cut. And see if long-term in those needs where you may be able to cut. This is why getting rich or getting wealthy can be made way more easier if you come to grips with and accept and are willing to understand the difference between what you want and what you need. It's a much deeper topic than a 5-minute lesson, right? Or a 5-minute conversation. I was talking to a young man the other day ago. I won't say his name. Never will say his name. He made $150,000 per year, but he had a brand new car, right? $150,000 is a nice salary, really nice salary. Younger guy, 30s. But he had a brand new car with a car payment, just bought an extra rental house, right? Excuse me. And the rental house wasn't paying him any money, right? He was making, I think it was $1,500 he was paying for mortgage and taxes and insurance, and he was getting about $1,500 of rent. But he vacationed about 3 or 4 times a year, spending lots of money on vacations, single, no kids, in his 30s, living in the heart of an expensive city. I won't say where, mid-30s, but he made $150,000. But listen, his net worth was only about $50,000. The thing is, he was living good right now, balling, basically. Right? Yeah, I think he had $150,000 in investments, whatever, but he had a very low net worth. He was living good today, and he was sort of forfeiting. Yeah, he had $150,000 right now, but he was sort of forfeiting living good in the future to live good today. And there's nothing wrong with living good today if you can afford it. But the thing is that he was unwilling to give up. When we went through all of his expenses, he was unwilling to give up some of his wants right now. And listen, when you're unwilling to give up some of your wants today, then you will be forced to give up some of your wants tomorrow. I guarantee you. So you might as well volunteer to give up some of the things that you want today so that down the road you can have more of what you really want. Hear me when I say, guys, if you're unwilling to give up some of your wants today, you're going to be forced to give up some of your wants in the future. Perhaps for 99% of us, because you have to make sacrifices. The question to you is, when? Sacrifice now or sacrifice later? You choose. Me personally, I don't want to be 70 years old sacrificing. I don't want to be 60 years old sacrificing. I'd rather sacrifice when I have the energy at 40, at 30, at 50, at 25, right? So you have to get in the habit of saying no to yourself. Use the 30-day rule. Curb your appetite. Spend less money. Be more frugal. Make sure you can fully fund your needs and half fund your wants, right? So that you have more money to save and invest and pay off debt or build your emergency fund, whatever you're going to do with the money. Look, is it right? Is it fair? Is it something we really shouldn't have to do? Those questions are moot. My answer is, who cares if it's right or wrong or fair or not fair? Whether it's right or wrong doesn't matter, because whether or not there's inflation is high or inflation is low, whether or not there's a Democrat or Republican president, right? Like, none of that really, really matters when you have a money goal and you have money plans and you have a strategy to get better with your money. When you want to grow wealth, you have to do what you have to do, regardless of inflation, regardless of who runs the Congress or who your city council member is, right? Regardless of what the weather is. None of that stuff matters when you have a strategy with your money. You got to do what you have to do. Not really what you want to do. You got to do what you have to do. Look, needs versus wants sounds really simple and elementary. Sometimes some people would rather work overtime than tell themselves no. Flat out, right? When it comes to making that extra purchase and buying that brand new car or getting that expensive, dress or shoes or purse or whatever it may be, going to that concert, some people they'd rather work overtime than tell themselves no, right? I just want you guys to understand that getting rich is way easier if you understand this concept and you apply the concept of wants versus needs, and you're willing to sacrifice some of your wants now for the sake of your future. I've never met a budget, guys. I've never met a budget that could not be cut. Never, never, never. And I've done hundreds of 101s, right, with people about their personal finances. I've never seen a budget that we couldn't shift. I've seen some budgets that were really, really tight, right? But with the right sacrifices and the right cutting of certain wants, you're typically able to get to where you want to be for most people. Not all, but most. 2.5 years ago, when I started this YouTube channel, up until about a month or two ago, I did free 15-minute calls with anybody who wanted it. Anybody. And so that in that 2 years, that allowed me to look at a whole hundreds of budgets. And all the budgets that I've seen have expenses that can be cut. The question is, do you want to cut it? Right? Do you want to shift things around a little bit so that you're not living paycheck to paycheck? Right? Sometimes, hear me on this, sometimes it takes a move to a whole nother city to be able to afford living. It really does. Sometimes you can't live in Los Angeles or San Diego or in Seattle or in Boston or in New York or in an expensive city. Sometimes you got to move an hour away, right? The key is, are you willing to do what it takes to cut your budget, slash your wants, to get where you want to go in terms of your wealth? Was that a rant or was that a rant? I apologize about the rant, guys. I didn't mean to go into a whole rant about it. But let me see, guys. If you guys got a quick question for me, put a Q in the comments section and I will answer a question and we can have a little back and forth. I'm going to run through the chat real quick and see what you guys are talking about. But if you have a question for me, I'm more than willing to answer. That's what these lives are about on Thursdays. And we do this again on Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time here in America. But we like to have these conversations because I could have put all this in a quick 15-minute video and put it out there on YouTube and all that good stuff. But I said, this is a little bit deeper conversation. So let me go a little bit deeper with it, right? Sometimes you just can't do that when you're doing those quick videos. Somebody said they want to retire by age 35. It's possible, but you got to get it rolling if you want to retire that early. Thank you from Los Angeles. Good to have you. Somebody said I'm comfortable being frugal, and frugal is okay. Frugal's cool. No, frugal doesn't mean you're cheap or you don't have fun. Frugal just means you're very, very selective and careful with how you spend your money, right? Somebody said less is more. Less can be more. Less is more is a concept. It's a very mature concept that it takes to, and you could be 25 and be mature. I'm not saying that. Somebody checked in from Lake Worth, Florida. Good to have you here. Escanaba, Michigan. Interesting. Okay. Glad to have you, TJ Jefferson. Glad to have you here. Checking in from Atlanta by way of Santa Ana, California. Good to have you here. And we got Chicago, right? Chi-Town in the house as well. Let's see here. Oh, we got somebody who said millionaire by 38, Lord willing. Yep, you can do it. In a Honda Civic. Nothing wrong with a Honda Civic. I had a 1996 Honda Civic when I began my money journey in the year 2000. Let's see. It's really difficult when you live with relatives that are consumed with emotional shopping. Yeah, that can be tough, right? Listen, on your money journey, you may lose friends because you're not going to be hanging where they hang. You may not be spending your money the way they're spending their money, and things change. You grow, right? Sometimes you got to cut people loose, unfortunately. Somebody said, I really want $250 Oakleys. Don't know what Oakleys are. I need some, sunglasses. Oh, Oakleys. Oh, my glasses are Oakleys. I just bought a pair of glasses about a month ago, and they're Oakleys. I should know what Oakleys are, right? Let's see here. That used to be me. Hello, great information. Just had this conversation with my fiance, daughter. Absolutely. Miss V, good to have you here. Miss V is always here. Glad to have you here as always. Let's see. Somebody else said, if you just need a credit card in order to build credit for yourself, then just settle with just one if you want. Yes, Jeremy, paradigm shift. I'm way back in the comments. Thank you. You're welcome, Esther Johnson. Good to have you here. Alabama in the house. Gary, good to have you. Massachusetts, good to have you here. Let's see, Clarksdale, Mississippi. You got to say it like that, right? You can't say Mississippi. You got to say Mississippi. My mother and father are both from Mississippi. Chicago here again. Let's see, we got Ottawa, Canada in the house. Wow. All right, it's going to get cold there. We got Cincinnati. Good to have you, Stephen. Madison, Wisconsin. Brandon is here. Let me scroll down a little bit, see if I can get, if you guys have a question for me. Norway is in the house. Wow. So listen, guys, I don't see there's a whole bunch of questions. I might have skipped some. If I didn't, let me know. Put a Q there. But I didn't want to belabor the point on this video. I didn't want to make it a very, very long video. I just really wanted to say, guys, that listen, if you want to get better with money, you got to make some changes. If you do what you always did, you're going to get what you always got, right? You're not going to improve your money situation if you do what you've always done. It's not going to happen from you. You got to shift. The first place to shift, everything you do in life starts where? In the mind. The first place you got to shift is your brain, how you think about money. Because watch this, how you think about money controls how you behave with money. Everything starts in the mind first. This big old speaker that comes from 1976. I've got a record player over here out of frame that you can't see, but is it a Panasonic? No, it's a Zenith. I got a Zenith over there from 1976. It plays all my album collection. This speaker had to be in somebody's head first. All these books you see, including Buck O'Neil, right? The Buck O'Neil book from Phil Dixon. That had to be in the brain first. So what you do with your money, you have to start with how you think if you want to change your money, because how you think is going to change your behaviors. And guess what? Your behaviors with money is what's going to change your outcome with money. So all of us have to think different. If you're watching this video, it tells me you're on the right track because you're starting to think differently, or you want to think differently about money. That's a good thing. That's the first place you start, with your mindset, right? Very, very important. East St. Louis checked in. Austria in Europe. Glad to have you here. How much? Oh, thank you, Suavery. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Somebody asked a question, how much do you charge for 101? If you join this channel at the advanced level, you pay $25, $24.99, to have a 15 to 20 to 30-minute conversation with me once a month. I'll jump on the phone and I'll do a one-on-one with you for 15. It's usually longer because I'm long-winded. I'll jump on the phone with you one time a month. You schedule it. We'll jump on there. And I'll have a conversation personally about your money. Just $25 a month if you join this channel at the advanced level. Now, if you want to do a one-time with me, or maybe a once-a-month, bigger, longer sessions, I'll leave a link to that in the description box. It's going to cost you a little bit more, but it's for my time. We're on there 90 minutes to 2 hours, and I'll leave a link to that in the description box below for you. So you can have that. I'll also leave a link to my channel, joining the channel, and also a link to actually my schedule. It'll all be in the description box below. Great question. But I do that. I do it to help people, right? So you guys know, I have a job. So I don't make a living. I don't pay my rent from the internet. But some people do, and if you do, that's fine. There's no harm, hurt, or foul. If you do, that's okay. But I like what I do. I have a job. And that's why I do this at the end of the day, right? Because I work at my work, and then after work is when I focus on my YouTube and so forth. Got a great video that's going to be coming out in a day or two talking about some side hustles and how to get them. You might want to check that out as well. So thanks for asking that, Mark. I appreciate it. Somebody said, I still drive a 07 Ford pickup truck. Welcome to the club. I still drive an old Camry that's back in 07. Hey, so what I like to do, guys, I'm not a big material consumer person. I like to kind of take good care of what I have. It's a blessing from H-Town and Okeechobee, something, Florida, right? But good to have you from Houston as well. So from Hawaii, good to have you. Brazil, looks like we got them all over the world here, guys. Excellent. This is great conversation. If you just came in, rewind back to the beginning, because I want you to understand the concept that's simple, but it's going to help you build wealth faster. That concept, if you're coming in late, was simply understanding the difference between needs and wants and applying that to your expense side of your budget and how you handle money, right? So with that, guys, we've been on about 55 minutes. I want to thank you guys for showing up to this conversation. This needs to be shared with as many people as possible. Do me that favor. Do them that favor. share this information with other people, right? That's the best way you can support this channel is by sharing the information. Don't forget in the description box, check out Mint Mobile. Don't forget in the description box, get your 24 Laws of Money free ebook. Don't forget in the description box, my one-on-one link will be there. My link to how to join this channel will be there, right? I'm trying to offer some services to say, hey, how can I best help you guys? Let me remove that real quick. All right. So, hey, again, I thank you guys so much for being here. Smash the like button, right? That puts this thing out so more folks can see it. I'm always here. Also in the chat box or description box, you'll see a link where you can just have a conversation. Maybe you can link up with me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter, X. I'm on, all the social media platforms, Pinterest. Of course, we're here on YouTube, of course. But I'm also on Facebook. We have a private Facebook group called Smart Money Bro on Facebook. You can join our private Facebook group, right? So we're all over trying to get this common sense, practical message about money out to as many people as possible. Because more people need to hear this. More regular people. Not the people, listen, I'm not the guru guy, guys. I'm not the person that's going to try to get you rich quick. But I am the person that will try to help you get some wealth by doing the right things, making the right moves with your money, the practical, smart moves with your money. You ain't got to do everything right with money. Trust me, I made a lot of mistakes with money. You just have to do a few things right. And getting wealth or becoming richer can be made easy. Right? Appreciate you guys. Check out the description box below. I'll see you guys on Saturday. We're going live again on Saturday morning, 11 o'clock in the morning, Central Standard Time. As I always say, at the end of every video, the absolute best person to take care of the old you is the young you. Guys, do me a favor. Take care of yourself, but also take care of other people. Until the next video, peace.